All right. Well, we gave them a few minutes to be late, so I think we'll go ahead and let you get started, Maria.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thanks for joining us today. We appreciate your patience. So we had a little technical glitch getting started. I'm really eager to share this information with you today, and frankly with the world, because I really believe that it could truly be life-changing. In fact, it actually has been life-changing for my friend Sarah, who I'll introduce you to in just a minute. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maria Brown. I'm a functional health coach and certified personal trainer, and my goal is just to provide simple, practical solutions to help people live better. I'm also a proud Marine Corps wife, and pleased to introduce you to my fellow Marine Corps wife, close friend, and the founder of Crunchy Supermom, Sarah Harding. Take it away, Sarah.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Like she said, I'm Sarah Harding, the founder of Crunchy Supermom. I typically spend my time educating moms, usually on all things natural and crunchy. And some of the things that I like to do include self-hacking. So I'll do tests and trials on different wellness protocols or wellness products if and only if they meet my standards as far as natural ingredients and safety. Like, I'm not going to try a pharmaceutical, even if it means I could fly. I wouldn't do that if it was not natural. I'm pretty skeptical of a lot of things, and I do a lot of research because my background is in health psychology. So I, like Maria, am all about the wellness stuff, and I was introduced to the concept of NRF2 activation, which we're going to let Sam explain that to you in a minute. But I agreed to give it a try for the purpose of research for 90 days, and Sam and I are pretty good friends. We met because we both homeschool. So we met through that, and I said, I don't want this to ruin our relationship when I take this herbal product for 90 days and I report on it ruthlessly, because that's what I do. And, that was that. And so I gave it a shot because I have a condition called dysautonomia, and it basically means my autonomic system just goes crazy for any reason. And some of the symptoms that I have dealt with for 4 years include things like extreme nausea and dizziness, where stability is not something I can achieve. Like, hanging onto the wall does not serve any purpose whatsoever. I can still lose my balance and end up on the floor with that. And moving to Louisiana, things got really bad for me with different types of, they call it a migraine, but there's no pain, where I would go blind in one eye and have some facial drooping and paralysis on one side. So things just got really crazy down here, and I had nothing to lose, so I gave this a shot. And I'm looking at, it's been since like June, the 1st of June or so, that I've been activating my genes to get, to kind of deal with these symptoms that I have, and I have not had any symptoms. And this was a 365 condition that I had. I never had a day off from it in the last 4 years. So it's a big deal, and it's completely natural. It meets my standards, and that's why Maria and I are extremely excited about it. We want to share it with everyone, and it's completely educational at this point. So we're going to let Sam turn it over. Or I'm going to turn it over to Sam, but just to tell you, she is like she was a former Marine, and her husband is a helicopter pilot. So pretty cool stuff. They homeschool, and they're up in Virginia. So yeah, I'm just excited for her to go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. And thank you, Maria. Thanks so much for having me. I'm incredibly humbled and excited to be working with amazing ladies like you. It's pretty cool as well that we have sort of this Marine Corps family connection going on, which is always awesome. But just the values, like-minded values, I love that. And it's so cool to be able to attract that into our lives, which is really what we're doing. We're sharing education with people and attracting people who are interested in this type of lifestyle, living a healthy, natural lifestyle, but also understanding that science and nature can actually come together. It doesn't have to be all science, all pharmaceutical, or all crunchy, natural with no real scientific validation. What we're going to share with you today is a perfect combination of both of those things, proven scientific research with natural compounds, natural herbs. And so we're so excited. I've been working with this for about 5 years, educating people, and I will never stop. I've seen thousands and thousands of lives changed by this, improved by this. We're not saying that anything we share today is to cure, prevent, treat, or mitigate disease. We are talking about the fact that our bodies were designed as miracle bodies. They were designed to allow ourselves to heal from the inside out. but we've been damaged over time, which is what we're going to talk about, some of the things that have damaged our bodies internally, and how we can reverse that process so our bodies can get back to work naturally in favor for us, like it has for Sarah, like it has for my family and myself and many people that we have now been able to share this message with. So we're excited to share it with you, and thanks again for having me, and thank you everybody for being here. I know Maria really appreciates all of your support just for hearing what she's so excited about. So all right, let's get right into it. So we are talking about how to improve your health naturally by activating your genes. So Sarah, if you could go to that first slide, I'm going to talk about the 3 key areas, the biggest problems affecting our health today. People often wonder this, especially in modern day society. We're more educated than ever. We have better access to modern medicine and modern technology. How is it that we have a society that is plagued by disease? Disease is absolutely skyrocketing. 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer. Even in our children, 1 in 50 children will be diagnosed with autism. What is it that's happening to our bodies that is causing all of this illness? Well, we actually know that there are 3 critical areas that are affecting our health, and the first is oxidative stress and inflammation. The second is mitochondrial dysfunction. The third is poor gut health. So we're going to break every one of these down and then show you what we can actually do in each of these areas. So Sarah, guys, first, what is oxidative stress? Some of you may know it, some of you may not. Oxidative stress and inflammation, they cause each other basically, and we're talking about inside the cells, inside every cell of your body. But one way to kind of visualize what it is, or the damaging effects of oxidative stress and inflammation, is to see this apple, the visual of this apple. You cut an apple in half and you sit it on your counter, and of course a couple hours, well, probably an hour later, you're going to notice that it's browning, and hour by hour it's going to brown and brown and brown until it eventually rots. The same thing happens when you leave a bike outside in the yard, maybe for a year. You're going to see it rust and totally break down and deteriorate. And both of those processes are just oxidation. It's that apple, that bike being exposed to the elements, to oxygen. And what happens inside of our own bodies is the same thing. We are oxidizing, and it's causing extreme inflammation in every cell that we have. Why do we get it? Well, it's really unavoidable. You can eat a very healthy, clean, whole food diet, organic, everything, raw, pure. But the thing that you cannot do is you cannot avoid the environment that we now live in. It's no shock, it's no secret that over the past few decades, we have added more and more things to our environment that were never intended to be here, right? Just unnatural things. Now, I'm not necessarily complaining about those things because I love my technology, right? We're all here either on a computer or a smartphone or a tablet right now, which is great. It's a wonderful way to stay connected. It's got many benefits. The problem is a lot of the things in our modern advances are actually causing physical harm to our bodies internally first, and then it shows up externally. So some of those things are like air pollution, fuel, when you're pumping gas at the gas station. For our husbands in the military, or from, especially my husband who's a pilot, breathing in that jet fuel constantly, or being around toxic radiation if you live near maybe a power plant, or just general air pollution. Cigarette smoke, that's a pretty obvious one. But things like excessive exercising, that also induces excessive oxidative stress and inflammation, causing your cells to damage. It's free radicals attacking every cell of your body, and that's what leads to oxidative stress and inflammation. Well, what do oxidative stress and inflammation, when your body cannot reduce that naturally, what happens is eventually over time, you're going to experience things. In the beginning, it may be minor things like fatigue, or just low mood or headaches, maybe then leading to migraines. But when oxidative stress and inflammation are left unchecked, it escalates into actual disease. You can see here on the right things affecting the heart, like hypertension, heart disease, psoriasis, acne, things like allergies and asthma, things you may not even think of as diseases or illnesses. at the root of them is oxidative stress, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, migraine, autism, chronic inflammation, lupus, MS. You could keep going around here, diabetes, some of the leading diseases, over 200 disease processes in the body. At the root is oxidative stress and inflammation. So that's the first key element of our health that's really affecting us. The second is mitochondrial dysfunction. Now, if you take yourself back to 8th grade biology, you might remember the mitochondria, the mighty mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell, okay? It's what converts your food energy into cellular energy. However, as we age, it's a natural process that your mitochondria start to slow down the production of mitochondria, but also as we have increased oxidative stress and increased factors, like we just talked about, inundating our cells, we have our mitochondria actually start to become dysfunctional. And when one is dysfunctional, it causes a chain reaction and more. It's like a cascading effect, and the mitochondria just become worse and worse and worse. Well, when your mitochondria dysfunction, not only does it give you things like lower energy because it's the powerhouse of every cell, it also leads to many other diseases, many of them neurological. So things like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, Lou Gehrig's disease or ALS, muscular dystrophy, autism, even cancer, okay? So you're seeing what's happening here. It's the breakdown of our cells, good cells turning into unhealthy cells. And then the final thing is poor gut health. Now, this is something that's being talked a lot about right now. I'm sure many of you have been hearing about the gut-brain connection and how we actually know that the gut is responsible for actually producing over 70% of the neurotransmitters that are in our brain and that are working in our brain are actually first formed in our gut, in our small and large intestine. And the other thing is that your immune system is also built in your gut. So if you have an unhealthy gut, then you're going to have an unhealthy immune system. But likewise, you're also going to have poor brain function, and things will start to break down. It eventually will lead to diseases, things like depression and anxiety. I think it's rampant in our society, with the suicide rate going through the roof and people on searching for solutions, and many times having to reach for pharmaceutical drugs, which cause, another ripple effect of issues. So we're seeing even things, poor gut health affecting your skin, things like acne and eczema. They really start in the gut, whether the gut is healthy or not. So thyroid with Hashimoto's and Graves', in the colon, or adrenal fatigue or rheumatoid arthritis. A lot of these things you might not connect with a healthy gut. But when your gut health is poor, your health is poor, your overall brain, your immune system. And what we know is that probiotics are great, but not all probiotics are created equal. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes here when we get into the solution. So let's talk first about oxidative stress and some solutions for it. Now, traditionally or conventionally, very conventionally, what the medical world would do about oxidative stress is they wouldn't treat oxidative stress. They wouldn't go to the root cause. What they would do is wait until oxidative stress manifests in an illness or a disease, whether it's something more minor like headaches or migraine and you treat with a little bit of pain medication, or whether it becomes a full-blown disease like cancer and treating with things like chemo and traditional, medication. But then in the past decade or so, some very, forward-thinking, health-conscious, natural-minded people have decided, we know that oxidative stress is free radical damage. And we know that antioxidants, they neutralize free radicals. So it makes sense that we should be taking antioxidants. So what people have been doing over the past decade or so are supplementing with heavy dosages of antioxidants, things like vitamin C, vitamin E, drinking, super juices, and just trying to get in as many antioxidants as possible. And that's the supplementation kind of route with that. The problem with that solution is that we have trillions upon trillions upon trillions of free radicals bombarding every cell of our body every single day. And so when you're eating a blueberry or eating a handful of blueberries or taking your vitamin C pill or drinking your juices, your antioxidant juices, they work on a 1-to-1 ratio. It's very direct. So they only eliminate a couple free radicals, a few here, a few there. That is no way to deal with trillions and trillions of free radicals. It's literally, basically causing a fire inside your body. So the other solution, what we now know, is that there's a mechanism inside your body that has always been there, and it's called the NRF2 pathway. And that pathway, when properly activated, turns on some key genes that allow your body to become like an antioxidant factory. It turns on the antioxidant genes, which turn on some key antioxidant enzymes, specifically catalase, SOD, and glutathione. Now, when those enzymes are effectively activated through our genes, especially naturally, you have now your body has the ability through the NRF2 pathway to fight those free radicals at a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. So you can either do vitamin C, blueberries, your juices at a 1-to-1 ratio, or you can fight it at a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. It's kind of like if your house was on fire and you reached for a little Dixie cup of water to keep filling up and throwing on the house fire. It's not going to do anything, right? Or you could call the fire department and they could bring all the most powerful fire hoses and put a fire hose in every room of that house and squelch the fire. That's the approach we're talking about with NRF2 activation. And I understand that this is a new concept, which is why we're here to educate. So Sarah, if you could go to the next slide, I'd like to show people what the third party, what is the research community saying about NRF2 activation. So this is a peer-reviewed paper from Oregon State University, and they said that when it finds a problem, NRF2 essentially goes back to the cellular nucleus and rings the alarm bell, where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification of carcinogens, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and other actions. In the reports, the scientists call it a longevity assurance factor. Okay, that's one paper. Let's look at the next paper from Washington State University. Now, this peer-reviewed paper concluded that NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. Now, these are some pretty heavy claims, and this is very new research. This isn't old research. This paper here was published in 2015. And the thing I love about this statement that Washington State University concluded is many times healthy people who are not feeling overwhelmed by the effects of oxidative stress will say, well, why do I need NRF2 activation? I'm already healthy. Well, Washington State University says because this is the most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. So if you're interested in preventing long-term disease or illness and you want the best strategy, then you need to be activating that NRF2 process. Conversely, some people will say, well, I'm already affected by disease, I'm probably too late for NRF2 activation. No, Washington State University here concludes that it is also the most extraordinary therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine, meaning that your body can actually start to repair itself when the NRF2 process is activated. So it's incredibly exciting and very encouraging science. So please go to the next slide. And what we are talking about specifically here is the #1 NRF2 activator on the planet right now, and it is also all natural, which is, for us personally here, this is one of our favorite things about it, is we don't have to kind of cave on our principles of putting good whole food into our body. This is comprised of 5 natural herbs: green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, bacopa, and ashwagandha. And it's the special synergy and formula of those herbs that creates NRF2 activation in the body. And that's been proven by peer-reviewed research, more peer-reviewed research than any other natural product or supplement on the entire planet. We'll get into that in 1 second. But what Protandim NRF2 does is it combats cellular stress through NRF2 activation. It's also the only supplement proven in a clinical study to reduce oxidative stress in humans by an average of 40% in 30 days. Interestingly, there was a 17-year federally funded study by the National Institute of Aging, which is a department of the National Institute of Health. And they just concluded, their study just concluded after 17 years, They compared things, all natural compounds that people are very well, familiar with, things that they thought might extend lifespan, things like resveratrol that we find in red wine, turmeric, green tea, fish oil. They compared all of these natural compounds, and then they compared Protandim. And they concluded that Protandim was the only natural compound that was significantly able to extend lifespan in mammals. So this is a huge breakthrough that we're talking about, which is why we're so fired up to share it with everybody. It helps to regulate your body's survival genes, which is what I talked about, activating those genes to allow your body to heal itself. In addition to activating the antioxidant genes, it also activates your anti-inflammatory genes to reduce inflammation, and it also activates your anti-fibrotic genes to break down scar tissue within the body. It's also approved by the BSCG, Banned Substances Control Group. So if we have any athletes on the line, whether you're professional, Olympic, collegiate, this is absolutely certified and good to go. I love that, especially being a military family, feeling confident that my husband, who is a Navy pilot, can take this daily, and there's no issues at all with drug testing or anything like that. So just to give you all a little bit of the background on how it is that we are coming to share this with you today. Why is this not something that you heard about from your doctor, or why is this something that you didn't see on a commercial somewhere on television? Less and less people are watching television, for one thing, but that's a whole other story. Let's talk about why this is in this vehicle, why we're talking as peers and educating each other. So LifeVantage is the company that formulates Protandim, and originally LifeVantage was just a small biotech company out of Denver, Colorado, and their team of scientists came together, led by a world-renowned scientist. They basically came together and formulated this Nrf2 activator, Protandim. And they were rather blown away when they ran the first clinical study with the results. They did not even expect it to be as powerful as it was. But when they found that it reduced oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, people started turning heads. Specifically, ABC Primetime News decided that they were going to come into this company, LifeVantage, come into their lab and investigate, find out if this was totally a fraud or if this was the real deal. And in 2005, ABC Primetime News aired an investigative report on national television. They sent John Quinones, their lead investigator, in. He took a blood test before, and he took a blood test 14 days after taking Protandim. He didn't even do the prescribed 30 days. He did it half the time, trying to kind of, maybe find some holes to poke in this. And if you want to go see the results of that ABC News report, you can get back with Maria. She can share with you the YouTube of that ABC report. But basically what they found was his oxidative stress levels were reduced by 45% in only half the time, because normally it's supposed to be 30 days. And so that led to even more just notoriety, and big institutions and universities reaching out saying, we need to study this product. If it really reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, it could be the biggest breakthrough of our time. LSU was studying it with melanoma. Ohio State was studying it with heart disease. All these institutions wanted to know what this product was and if it could have a significant effect. So that's what happened. But again, it was 2005. People did not quite understand what Nrf2 activation was. In 2005, many people were just coming around to the idea of antioxidants and natural health. We're still trying to convince people, or not convince, but educate why eating whole foods and organic is the better way to go, is the better option. So you have to understand, this is an education process, and a product like this doesn't become popular overnight. So when it was sitting on the shelves of a place like GNC or vitamin shops throughout the United States, people didn't understand what it was. They saw this bottle, it was $50 per bottle, sitting next to a bottle of vitamin C, which they were familiar with. Well, bottom line is, the market didn't receive it very well. People didn't understand it. So in 2005, LifeVantage is a publicly traded company. LifeVantage and the board of directors got together and said, we need to change our education model, our marketing model, so we can get this into the hands of people. And they knew they weren't going to put it through pharmaceutical sales reps, because it's not a drug. It's completely natural. It doesn't require a prescription or a diagnosis. But they knew that people needed to get access to it, experience it, get educated on it, and they decided in 2010 to remove it from retail, take it out of GNC stores, and sell it through a network of distributors, ordinary people like us who can experience the product, educate one another, and share this information through an online website, basically. And that's what LifeVantage has been doing since 2010. And it was the right strategy, because now LifeVantage is a $200 million per year company selling this breakthrough product. And that's what we're educating about. So if you could go to the next slide, Sarah, I just wanted to explain that story because it's important. It's important for people to realize why they're hearing it in this vehicle. And so these are some of the universities and independent institutions that did study Protandim on their own dime. This is very unheard of that, independent universities like this would reach out and fund their own studies on a natural product. Today, there are 24 peer-reviewed studies on PubMed.gov. So if you're a science guru, if you're a research guru, you're going to love the fact that you can go to PubMed.gov, the National Institute of Health, after this, and type in the word Protandim, and you can read for days on the peer-reviewed research and the findings from places like LSU with that melanoma study. They found a dramatic reduction in melanoma skin tumors and their multiplicity. Ohio State University with heart disease, they found that Protandim was able to basically repair a human artery. Again, I'm not saying that this is meant to cure, treat, prevent, mitigate disease, but you can go read the peer-reviewed research yourself and see if it makes sense to you. And of course, the other results that we are all sharing that are happening in our own lives, with our bodies being activated, they can start to really heal themselves and recover and perform better. So anyway, 24 peer-reviewed studies on PubMed.gov. I love it. I'm excited by it. But if you're not, it's okay. There's other ways of understanding this in more layman's terms, and we can get that information to you as well. So one of the interesting studies, this was done by one of the leading pharmaceutical companies, one of the top 10 drugs on the market for multiple sclerosis. It's called Tecfidera, and the company Biogen is the producer of that drug. Tecfidera is a NRF2 activator. It's the only NRF2 activator drug on the market, and they wanted to compare their drug, Tecfidera, which in this study is referred to as BG12, with Protandim. They wanted to see how it stacked up against a natural NRF2 activator. And their own study concluded that, interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer, and therefore maybe the most therapeutic strategy for MS patients. So Protandim is a $40 product, and their drug Tecfidera, or BG12, is a $50,000 per year product, and it comes with a laundry list of side effects. And that right now is one of the leading strategies for patients with multiple sclerosis. So just goes to show you how powerful this natural herbal product is and has already proven to be. Next slide, please. Okay, so sometimes people will say, you know what? I looked at the ingredients of Protandim, green tea, ashwagandha, milk thistle, bacopa, turmeric. I already take a lot of those, so I don't need this. Well, this paper, which is again another peer-reviewed paper that you can find on PubMed.gov, actually proves that the synergy of Protandim in the exact ratio, each of those ingredients is present at a very low dosage individually, but it's their synergy together that creates a 18-fold effect within the body. So each of those ingredients becomes 18 times more effective when taken in Protandim. So you may be taking a turmeric supplement hoping that it's going to reduce inflammation and have all these wonderful health benefits. But what we know from this peer-reviewed study is that taking turmeric alone is not an effective way to work inside the body. The body does not process it and use it the right way. It actually needs these other herbs, these other compounds in low dosages to provide this 18-fold effect and actually cause that NRF2 response. So the next slide is the last one I'd like to share on NRF2, and this is the glutathione assay. And so I'm sure Maria has a lot of people who are obviously in the health and wellness world, but especially people who might be into physical fitness or even physical trainers. anybody in that world will understand the importance of glutathione, because they understand that the reason, the way to repair muscles and to have faster recovery is to have better glutathione production in the body. Likewise, in neurological diseases, things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and autism, what we know is that those patients all have low glutathione production in their body. And so the question is, how do we get more glutathione in our body? Well, we know that supplementing with glutathione pills is not effective, just not effective. The injections can be effective, but they can be hard to access, they can be expensive, but nothing is more effective than activating your own body in your genes and allowing your body to increase its own production. Well, this peer-reviewed study, sorry, got my dog barking here. This peer-reviewed study proves that Protandim actually increases the body's natural production of glutathione by 300%. So I know this is something that particularly caught Sarah Harding's eye, who shared her story with dysautonomia, because she was one of those people looking for a way to increase glutathione in her body. And that is a big reason why she is seeing so many benefits and positive progress with her illness, because her body is now producing glutathione in a very healthy way. So we've talked a lot about NRF2 activation, and it is truly the single most important thing that you could do for your overall health, and especially with Protandim, because it's natural, there's no side effects. Right now, it is the best proven strategy on the planet to effectively activate NRF2. However, we also talked about mitochondrial dysfunction being another big issue attacking our health and causing us to have poor health and overall, come to disease. Well, the same way there's an NRF2 pathway, the body also has an NRF1 pathway. The NRF1 pathway is responsible for mitochondrial function and mitochondrial repair. And when it's activated, specifically through Protandim NRF1, the body is able to produce healthy mitochondria, more healthy mitochondria, to repair the existing damaged mitochondria. It increases your cellular energy, or ATP. It improves performance through energy production. It enhances cellular health so that your cells are functioning at their peak performance. One of the big benefits of NRF1 activation is that it improves sleep quality and promotes cellular repair. We have an epidemic of people, at least in the United States, I would say this is likely worldwide, of people who are having sleep issues. They either cannot get to sleep, they cannot stay asleep, or they feel like after a whole night's sleep, they didn't even sleep. They feel like they're not even well rested. And that is a problem, not only because it gives you a hard day the next day, but in your long-term health, it is actually causing disease in the long term. Because when you sleep, you need to get into that deep REM sleep so that your cells repair, and that's when all the healing process happens. So this is an amazing benefit of NRF2 and NRF1 activation combined, is that it improves sleep quality. So you hit the pillow, you fall asleep, you stay asleep, and when you wake up, you feel rested and you dream very deeply. That's how you know you're getting very good sleep. So, and also boosts mitochondria production. And the final thing is that it slows cellular aging by supporting chromosome integrity. So that's NRF1 activation. The final thing is the poor gut health that we're all struggling with. Now, even if you are committed to the most healthy living, the most organic whole food diet, that's great. That's a great start. However, the health of your gut was formed long before you started choosing your eating habits. In fact, your gut was formed when you were first conceived. So the gut that the health of your mother's gut was the gut health that she passed to you in the womb. And so what that means is that you really have to work your whole life to try to improve the gut function that you have, that you've been given. Yes, eating healthy food is going to help, but to actually get the gut, the small and large intestine, to have that good bacteria resupplied to the intestines, you have to put it back in there. Now, what many people are doing is taking probiotic supplements, they're drinking kombucha, they're eating their yogurt, and they're thinking that they're good. The problem is that most probiotics are not making it up to where they need to go. And the reason is the stomach acid is so caustic that the good bacteria just does not make it all the way to the small and large intestine. So it really matters how you're delivering that good bacteria. So LifeVantage developed a probiotic called ProBio, and it is encapsulated with a patented formula called BioTract, which allows, it's actually, if you see the shape of it, they're little spheres, and it allows the bacteria, the good bacteria, to be delivered to withstand the stomach acid and deliver 60% of that good bacteria all the way to your small and large intestine where it needs to go. Whereas most probiotics on the market are only delivering 4% of that bacteria to your small and large intestine. So if you're already taking a probiotic, highly recommend when that one runs up to try this one, and I believe that you will notice a difference, dramatic differences in the first few days. And again, we talked about not only in your digestion will you notice that, but things like brain fog being lifted. If you struggle with things like anxiety, that's all connected. Skin issues, all of those things, and all of these together with Nerf2, Nerf1, and ProBio, you have the well-rounded kind of trifecta to improve your overall health. So Sarah, if you could go next, I think we've got a few recommendations here. I know some people are here just to be supportive of Maria, find out what she's so excited about, and just be there to cheer her on. But some of you have already expressed interest in either the little yellow pill, as we call Protandim Nerf2, or just knowing about all of this that is really changing the health for all of us. You know, the health span, the current health of our families, of our children, of our parents and friends. And what we have here are a few recommended options. So the number one recommendation that I would give is this Activated Essentials bundle, because this gives you that full trifecta. You know, it's everything that we talked about here today. Solving that oxidative stress piece and inflammation with Nerf2. Solving the mitochondrial dysfunction with Nerf1. It's kind of like that 1-2 punch. But then solving, you know, cleaning up the gut, restoring that good gut health with the probiotics. So that's $125 altogether for your month's supply, and that comes with free shipping. The next best option is the Dual Synergizer. You know, if you're already committed to the probiotic that you take and you don't want to try this one yet, the Dual Synergizer is a great option because it gives you the 1 and the 2, and that's $85.99 per month for a month's supply. And then Protandim NRF2 alone, if you're only able to commit to one single thing for your health, this is the single best investment in your health you could possibly make. And we're not talking about this in addition to a whole laundry list of vitamins. When your body's activated at a cellular level, your body knows where to upregulate good genes and where to downregulate bad genes. So you don't need to keep guessing with all of this different vitamin supplementation. Your body knows better. So that would be my single best recommendation if you're looking to do just one thing for your health. But I would be remiss if I didn't share with you, there are a few other strategies for Nerf2 activation, one topically, because our skin is our largest organ, and it is the first line of defense against oxidative stress, right? And so the same thing that's happening internally, you know, think of that apple that's breaking down, it's turning brown. That's what's happening to our skin. That's why we age, that's why we wrinkle, that's why we have things like acne or issues in our skin, you know. And though there's, of course, again, conventionally there's the strategy of dermatology, which is very sort of a strategy of attacking and targeting and trying to make the skin do what you want. But what Nerf2 activation topically, okay, this is literally the same formula of Protandim put in a topical version in a 4-part skincare system. It allows your cells to repair themselves. This is an amazing patented skincare. It's the only Nerf2 activated skincare that's patented on the entire market, and it's amazing. I love it. It smells incredible. Check it out if you're interested in a solution for your skin. The next thing is Axio Smart Energy, and this is actually an NRF2 activator for the brain. Yes, it's an alternative to an energy drink. It's a healthy, smart alternative to an energy drink, or if you're trying to kick or maybe curb your coffee habit. I know I did that. I wasn't really looking for a way to get over my coffee. I didn't think it was an addiction, but I was drinking 5 cups of very strong coffee every day. But once Axio was introduced and I gave it a try, I just found that my thoughts were clearer. I had better focus, better mental energy. And it's because it's activating those processes of your brain when we're feeling tired and fatigued, a lot of it is because our brain is just not focused. It's running a million miles an hour and it can't focus on where it needs to go. So what this does is it allows your brain, through very natural compounds and herbs and flavonoids, things like green tea and L-theanine and DMAE, and these things are allowing your brain to actually have better focus and mental clarity. We're actually seeing, even with children, a lot of focus benefits. So this is our good friend who's a chiropractor. His nephew struggles with autism, and so his teacher had to send this home with his mother, because what she noticed was that this handwriting sample on the left was, 1 week, okay, kind of wide, a little bit all over the place, spaced out handwriting. And then a week later, she noticed his handwriting was the formation was so tight and focused. She had never seen that before, and all the time of teaching him, she'd never noticed his handwriting to be so focused like this. And what she didn't realize is that his mom had been giving him the Protandim, NRF2, and the Axio drink every day. And so it's just, we're seeing many benefits to being able to activate your brain naturally as well and have that mental clarity and focus. So, and it tastes delicious. It comes in 5 different flavors, caffeine and decaf. So you can check that out. Maybe ask for a sample, leave it for Maria if you want to check out some of the flavors. So thank you all for being here. I know it was a lot of information, but I hope that you gained some value from that. Many people kind of look at things in a different way. Some people like to go into the heavy research like Sarah Harding did, I know. Other people kind of like a very simple layman's term explanation. The cool thing is that we have a lot of resources. Yeah, Maria is saying, that's me. I was kind of both. I need the layman's explanation, but then I like to also dig in and really pull back the layers of the onion. But we have it all, really. You can go to PubMed for the independent research, which is amazing. Such an incredible resource. We also have we have a quick cartoon type thing that explains it. My kids love it, they get it. That explains what we talked about here in about 4 minutes. So if you're looking for the 4-minute version of what I just said, check out that cartoon from Maria. But we also have a Facebook group where we share a lot of education, all the things that are being recently published, people's stories and experiences with these products and how it's benefiting them in their everyday life. So if that's something that you'd like to learn more about, just let Maria know that. But otherwise, we're just so happy that you were here and you showed your support for Maria. And Maria, thank you so much for having us. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate your time today, ladies, and I really appreciate everybody who was able to join us or who takes the time to watch the replay. I think you can probably now see why I'm fired up about this and why I truly do believe that it could be life-changing information that I hope you will absorb, and I hope you'll even share it with the people that you care about, whether it is from a preventative hope for the people that you love, or whether you know somebody who's struggling in a particular area. At some point, I think when you're sick and tired, you get tired of being sick and tired. And so what have you got to lose, really, is kind of my thought. We know you can only be helped by this. Again, I appreciate everybody's time. And please get in touch with me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you or direct you to one of these two lovely ladies who can definitely help you out. Thank you.